guys, good day to you. Let me begin our class by wishing each and every one of you a happy new year. Today, we are going to discuss the poem The Canonization by Donne. About the author's thoughts. This poem was written in the period of 1590s. It was published in his collection called Songs and Sonnets posthumously. The poem is written by combining the themes of love and religion. Another important thing to note here is that this poem contains 5 stanzas. With the progression of each stanza, we can see the gradual change from reality to abstractness. Donne must have purposely structured this poem this way so that they resemble the 5 steps in the process of Christian canonization. We will move on to the poem now. For God's sake, hold your tongue and let me love. Or chide my palsy, or my gout, my 5 grey hairs, or ruin fortune's flout. Here, the speaker of the poem is scolding someone. He is asking that person to stop abusing them, him and his lover, and give them peace of mind to love each other. There are so many things for the rebuker to find fault with, and he is even giving them options to find fault with, like, for example, his palsy, or his gout, his old diminutive figure, or the penury he is in. Here, palsy and gout are the unhealthy conditions of human body. 5 grey hairs may be a synecdoche of his aging body. Synecdoche is a figure of speech that represents a part for the whole or the whole for a small part. With wealth your state, your mind with arts improve. Take your course, get your place. He is asking the person to use the money that he has to improve his state of living or improve the way his mind works by learning a new skill. Here, art means skill. In the next line, course and place may be a homonym. A homonym is a word that may intend 2 different meanings. Here, course can mean a new subject and place then becomes his position in the society. It could also mean a new explorative journey to find out new places. Since Renaissance was taking place in different fields, the possibility of a dual meaning cannot be discarded completely. Observe his honor or his grace, or the king's real or his stamped face. Contemplate what you will approve, so you will let me love. Another option would be to observe the king's face real close, or even the face of the king on a seal or a stamp. Whatever it is, that you are planning to do, think of it deeply. Contemplate on it. At least then you will let us love each other. Contemplate means to think deeply over a matter. A point to note here is that in Donne's time, a commoner could never approach the king. But here, the speaker is giving a suggestion to observe the face real close. This could happen only if the rebuker was from a high class. Think over it, guys. Alas, alas, who is injured by my love? Seeing that this rebuking fella is not moving on, the speaker is asking the person again to tell him who has been hurt because of his love. What merchant ships have my sighs drowned? Who says my tears have overflowed his ground? When did my coals a forward spring remove? When did the heats which my veins fill add one more to the plaguey bill? See, now these can be allusions to Donne's contemporary time. The merchant's ship sinking can be a reference to the number of ships that sank during his time, owing to the explorative fervor, especially that of the explorer Ferdinand Magellan. Tears overflowing the ground may be a criticism of an essential practice of Catholicism then, that needed tears to fulfill their prayers, because by this time Donne had been converted to Anglicanism and had become critical of Catholicism. The spring season is usually preceded by the winter season in the northern hemisphere. The speaker might be asking that when has his cold removed a spring? If there is a prolonged winter, the possibility of the spring season is reduced. The plaguey bill refers to a list of deceased people who died during the London plague. The heats which my veins fill is a double entendre. A double entendre is a phrase that has multiple meanings. Here, it means the passionate love he has for his lover and the rising temperature which is the symptom of a plague. All these questions are rhetorical in nature, or in other words, these are the questions that do not need an answer. Soldiers find wars, and lawyers find out still litigious men, which quarrels move. Though she and I do love. The soldiers have wars to fight. Lawyers have cases to fight for litigious men. Litigious means someone who loves filing lawsuits. The speaker means to say that all the people have their own businesses to mind, even though he and his lover are in love. Call us what you will, we are made such by love. The speaker is giving his rebuker the permission to call them any name they want. And he is justifying this thought by saying that We are made this way by love. Call her one, me another fly. We are tapers too, and at our own cost die. The rebuker can call them a fly or a taper. Taper is a candle. Flies are attracted to the candlelight, but when they get too close, they die. Similarly, the candle that gives light in darkness consumes itself and dies out eventually. Nobody forced them to die, but they died at their own cost. And we, in us, find the eagle and the dove. The speaker finds the eagle and the dove in their love. This can be a reference to the Renaissance idea of the eagle and the dove. The eagle flies above in the sky or above all the ordinary people. The dove, on the other hand, flies and makes its way into the heaven. The speaker means to say that their love is not ordinary but pure. So pure that it will make its way into the heaven. The phoenix riddle had more wit. He now wants to attribute the story of phoenix to his love. The phoenix is a mythological bird that is reborn from its ashes. Similarly, their love will also be reborn even if they die. The metaphor of phoenix has a running theme throughout the poem. I'll explain this theme once the poem is over, because only then will you fully comprehend the idea. By us, we two being one are it. So, to one neutral thing, both sexes fit. We are one and we are gender neutral. We die and rise the same and prove mysterious by this love. We will die together and we will be reborn from our ashes of love. Then we would be proven to be the mysterious lovers. Though the word mysterious comes in this stanza, its meaning does not come here. This meaning is extended to the next stanza. I'll complete the statement once we have finished this poem as well. We can die by it, if not, live by love. We can die for our love and be reborn from the ashes of our love. And if unfit for tombs and hearse, our legend be, it will be fit for verse. If the legend of our love is not good for a tomb or a hearse, then it will be good for a poem. A tomb is a monument for the dead, and a hearse is an elaborate vehicle used to carry the dead. And if no piece of chronicle we prove, we'll build in sonnets pretty rooms, A chronicle is a written factual record of important historical events. So, here the speaker is saying that if our love does not feature in any chronicle, then it is okay because our love would be written in sonnets. As well, a well-wrought urn becomes the great ashes, as half-acre tombs, and by these hints all shall approve us canonized for love. An urn, even though highly ornamented, becomes valuable when the ash in it is of a great person. Similarly, tombs that spread over half an acre are important because of the tomb it contains. In the same way, these sonnets that the speaker will write will become important because it contains their love. Here the word hymns is used instead of sonnet or poems because that too has a specific meaning which would be explained later. And thus invoke us, you whom reverent love made one another's hermitage, you to whom love was peace, that not its rage. These lines are like a prayer to the lovers who have now become saints. Reverend means respected. You have made love the purpose of your hermitage. For you, love was once your peace of mind, but now your love is a prophecy. Rage here means something prophetic, and it is not related to anger. Who did the whole world's soul contract and drove into the glasses of your eyes? Your eyes are watching over the whole world. So made such mirrors and such spies that they did all to you epitomize. You have become the perfect example of couples such that we observe and imitate your lifestyle to become perfect lovers like you were on earth. Here, mirror means to imitate. Spice means to observe, and epitomize means to make an example of. Countries, towns, courts, beg from above a pattern of your love. Countries, towns, and courts pray to you for a model of your love, or to shower their blessings and listen to their prayers. Now, since we have finished the poem, I'll tell you certain things that you guys need to understand about the poem as a whole. Let's start with the analysis. First thing, it is the extended metaphor of the conceit of phoenix. The poem indirectly follows the steps on how it dies and regenerates from the ashes. When we examine the poem right from the first stanza, we can see that the speaker is old, especially when he says to count his grey hairs. This is similar to how a phoenix is approaching its time to die. In the second stanza, the speaker grows even more sad and depressed, like Lycan, who says tears have overflowed his ground. Now, the phoenix is even more closer to death. The third stanza speaks about how they die. This means that the phoenix is also dead. And while explaining this portion, I had told that the meaning of the term mysterious will become clear in the later stanzas. See, the line, "We die and rise the same and prove mysterious by this love," is a precursor to the death in the fourth stanza and rising in the fifth stanza, which can be the cause of the surprise, because they die and rise only because of their love. The fourth stanza is full of death, from tomb to hearses to urns to hymns. The urns contain the ashes, which mean that the body of the phoenix has been reduced to ashes. In the last stanza, the lovers have become saints, which means that the phoenix has risen from its ashes. This was one theme that was running parallelly throughout the poem. There is, however, one more conceit, and that is the conceit of canonization. Before moving on to that theme, let me make you familiar with the steps of canonization. The steps required for an individual to become a saint in the eyes of the Vatican are: first step is wait for 5 years. The process to make someone a saint does not normally start until at least 5 years after their death. Become a servant of God. Once the 5 years are over, the bishop of the diocese where the person dies can open an investigation into the life of the individual to see whether they lived their lives with sufficient holiness and virtue to be considered for sainthood. The third step is that show proof of a life of heroic virtue. The Congregation for the Cause of Saints scrutinizes the evidence of the candidate's holiness, work, and signs that people have been drawn to prayer through their example. Step 4 is verified miracles. A miracle has to be attributed to the prayers made to the individual after their death. And step 5 is canonization. Canonization is the final step in declaring a deceased person a saint. To reach this stage, a second miracle has to be attributed to them after the fourth step. You do not have to study these steps. Just pay attention to what I am going to say next. In this poem, when we closely examine, we can find that Donne has designed his poem in such a way that its 5 stanzas resemble the 5 steps of canonization. Also, starting from the line "We'll build in sonnets" to the last line of the poem, we can see that it takes the shape of a prayer that people attribute to these lovers, which is essentially the 5th step of the process of canonization. That is, to attribute a prayer, a second prayer to the saints. Now we'll move on. Symbolism. We use symbols to represent ideas or qualities. Here, eagle, dove, and the phoenix stands for the different ideas like above the ordinary, heaven, and afterlife. Imagery. It is the figurative usage of words. Here, the figurative usage of the word looking is used. The very first line of the poem, "For God's sake, hold your tongue," indicates that someone is looking at them. And also in the line, "Countries, towns, courts, beg from above a pattern of your love," means that they are looking at the people from the heavens, that is, the lover saints. Meter. Iambic pentameter is used in these lines. An iamb is a combination of an unstressed syllable represented in the line with the blue color and the stressed syllable represented in the red color. Pentameter means there would be 5 iambs in a meter or a single line. Rhyme scheme. The rhyme scheme followed here is AB, BA, C, AA. Rhyme scheme refers to the pattern in which the end sounds of each line rhyme with each other. The same sounds have the same letter. I have quoted the entire third stanza along with the rhyme scheme here for your reference. The setting of the poem advances from being real to being abstract by the end of the poem. In the first stanza, we have the line, "Observe his honor" or "his grace." Here, the king is for real. In the second stanza, we can find the line, "Alas, alas, who is injured by my love," and the rise of emotions. The third stanza has a line, "The phoenix riddle hath more wit," which substitutes emotions for myth. In the fourth stanza, the line, "We'll build in sonnets pretty rooms," myth turns to perceptions. The last stanza has the line, "You to whom love was peace, that now is rage," from perceptions to prophecy, which is the last stage of abstractness. Alliteration. In the line, "Lawyers find out still litigious men," we have the repetition of the l sound, as in lawyers and litigious. This representation of the repetition of letter or sound of the adjacent words are known as alliteration. That's it, guys. We have finished this chapter. Thank you all for patiently listening to my class. Kindly like, share and subscribe to my channel. We will meet again with the next chapter. Bye for now.